Good evening, everybody. Once again, this is the UFC on FX number 8 post-fight recap with Bear Thunder Heart. And tonight, this event of course, took place in Brazil. Wow, and I tell you, I did not see all the fights of the event. However, I was able to see the one on FX, which is actually the last four fights of the event. So, what exactly happened? Well, let me put it like this: it was predominantly, Brazilian fighters that won that fight, obviously, because in their home turf, and of course they're the ones who originated the modern day, well, MMA. What it all boils down to it. They originated the modern day MMA, so mixed martial arts that is. So, and then of course I'm once again I'm with Yogi's house. He invited me in, so he's gonna say some few words after I'm done reading some of the stuff. So here we go. Now, Lucas Martins versus Jeremy Larson, and the winner is Lucas Martins via knockout. Josia Formiga versus Chris Carrizo, and the winner is Josia Formiga via unanimous decision. John Lineker versus Azamat Gashimov, and the winner is John Lineker via TKO. And wow, and it's such a double tough Fabio Maldonado versus Roger Hollett, and the winner is Fabio Maldonado via unanimous decision. And Yuri Alcantara versus Iliarde Santos, and the winner is Yuri Alcantara via a TKO victory. Wow, that's all I gotta say. I mean, it's not too often that we hear him win with TKOs, but he did it. So congratulations. All right, and Paulo Thiago versus Michel Prazeres, and the winner is Paulo Thiago via unanimous decision. And Gleison Tibau versus John Cholish, and the winner is Gleison Tibau via submission via guillotine choke. And Francisco Trinaldo versus Mike Rio, and the winner is Francisco Trinaldo via a submission with a side arm triangle. So, excellent victory. Trinaldo is an extremely strong guy, so I'm not surprised. And Nick Lentz, Hacran Diaz versus Nick Lentz, and the winner is Nick Lentz via unanimous decision. Now, of course, the last four fights were the fights I was able to see. Now, Rafael Natal versus Zererino, and the winner is Rafael Natal via unanimous decision. I mean, what happened basically? This is the first time in the UFC to fight in the UFC. So, and Rafael Natal has been around for a while. So, of course, Joao actually came at a House of Fire and came at Rafael a few times in the first round, very aggressive. And boy, I mean when Rafael took Joao down, basically it was trying to take Joao down, but Joao reversed it and took him down, and then they both ended up tying their legs. It was almost like 50-50 chance of either one of them could turn it around and submit one another. I mean, they were both on the ground with their legs tied. I mean, this is like the first time I've seen this kind of stuff in a long time, where you see two guys trying to get the leg locks from heel hooks to knee bars and all kinds of stuff, and all they did was just figure four in each other throughout. I would say like 3 minutes of the fight, and so the referee, of course, after a while had to stand them up because they just couldn't get an advantage of each other. They couldn't. So that was that for the first round. And then the second round, that's when Joao got very exhausted. He gassed out. And then of course Rafael gassed out a little bit too, but he just wasn't. He still did it. He did what he had to do. And then of course the third round, of course, that's when both of them were still exhausted, but they still turned it up. Anyway, they were still exhausted, but they turned it up when they needed to. But in the end, Rafael Natal got a unanimous decision, so congratulations on that. Anything you have to say regarding that fight, precisely?
No, it was just pretty exciting. I enjoyed it. Nothing. Well, I don't know the fighters that well, so I enjoyed it.
But what did you think about the fact that that their legs were tied to each other the way they did, as far as that goes? They were trying to get a submission of a knee bar, but they were just tied up. It was like,
Well, there were two schooled fighters that knew how to counter each other, and they just read each other. And the only way they would get out if the ref would break them, and which he did.
and so do you think the ref did made a good choice?
Oh yeah. Well, the bell was coming up, so but he still made a good choice. I feel. You know, the bell was coming up in seconds, and he stood him up, but it was still a good choice.
That's good. That's good. And then, of course, the next fight was another Rafael, but this time Rafael dos Anjos versus Evan Dunham, and the winner is Rafael dos Anjos via a unanimous decision. I mean, this was actually more of a faster paced fight than the last fight that they had. I mean, it just went back and forth, but Rafael dos Anjos did way more in all three rounds than Evan Dunham, you know, as far as, so certain takedowns and but mostly he outstroked Evan Dunham, and Evan Dunham is a slow starter anyway. So it's really hard for him to get going. And that has really cost him. But at the same time, Rafael dos Anjos is in his home turf. He had a little extra energy, a little extra inspiration to win. I mean, that's all there is to it. And on top of that, he was on a multiple fight winning streak as far as I believe now 5 fight winning streak now. So congratulations, Rafael dos Anjos. What do you think about this guy?
Oh, that was exciting. That was exciting. It could have went either way. I enjoyed that fight. It was exciting.
Oh, that's good. And so, what do you feel about Evan Dunham being like the slow starter? Because he's always had this slow start, but once he gets going, he gets good. But not tonight.
He came in late. Surprised me. You know, and he's real tall, lanky, and enjoyed him. He was good. You know, it was a little too much for him to overcome at the end, but he was so far behind that he had too much to cover to come right in and take over, you know, and win the fight.
Well, that's cool. And then, of course, in the co-main events, now this is the man I've heard for so many years, and I've seen, and I mean, I haven't really seen him fight until tonight, but I've actually heard about his fights, and I read about his fights from his jiu-jitsu days to his MMA, to now in MMA, and being a former Strikeforce middleweight champion as Ronaldo Souza, as they call him, the alligator, went against Chris Camozzi. Well, Chris Camozzi, you know, of course, took the place for Consta Filippo. I guess he got injured or something happened. But Chris Camozzi stood up and took the fight. But of course, it wasn't Ronaldo's greatest challenge because it didn't take him very long. It only took him about 2 minutes in the very first round to win via submission with a side arm triangle. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Chris Camozzi is okay, but he's just not at that level to be fighting guys like Ronaldo or Tibau or I mean, he's just not in that level yet. He still needs to get more experience to fight higher level fighters. I mean, the guy got choked out. He was put to sleep. He didn't tap out. Cool for him, but he still got passed out. So he still lost. What do you think about that fight? What do you think about Ronaldo? What do you think about Chris Camozzi? What do you think about this whole scenario?
Well, I had been following Ronaldo in the Strikeforce, and I knew he brought in some credentials. He lived up to it in his hometown, and he brought it. Enjoyed the fight.
And that's another thing too. I have not really seen him fight, but yet I hear so much. I heard so much about this guy, how he brought it. And I mean, whatever it was in judo or whatever it was in jiu-jitsu or MMA, he always pulls something spectacular, whether it's through strikes or grappling.
Oh yes, the talk was always there. You know, it was inevitable that he'd show up in UFC and take over. Probably not take over, but he made a mark. Made a lot of fans in his hometown.
Well, that's for sure. and maybe not just in his hometown, but I'm sure all over the world too after tonight.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure. So congratulations. Now, do you think that Ronaldo is going to fight Vitor Belfort? Do you think, or I mean, who do you think is going to fight for whoever wins the Anderson Silva or Chris Weidman, or do you think it's too early?
It's too early. He's gotta make some more noise, but he'll be up there, the top 10 for sure.
Okay.
He'll slowly climb, and his day will come where he'll get his chance.
All right. And as far as the top contention, as of the main event featured Vitor Belfort, former UFC light heavyweight champion, versus former Strikeforce middleweight champion Luke Rockhold. And the winner via knockout is Vitor Belfort. I mean, my goodness. I mean, yeah. I didn't really thought this would have lasted the first round. Maybe even the second at the most. But man, I tell you, I was like thinking Luke Rockhold looked okay, but I wasn't really impressed with him. And maybe that's just my own bias because I haven't really seen him fight as much, and I'm not doubting his credentials at all. That's just me having seen him fight. But I have seen Vitor Belfort. But man, the fact that he actually pulled off a spinning hook kick to the man's head, knocked him down, and he was already out when he went to the floor, but Vitor Belfort just went for the finished and totally destroyed him. I mean, wow. I mean, what do you think about that?
That was beautiful, and we had even discussed it that, you know, don't even blink because it's going to go down fast.
Exactly. Those were his words, by the way. He warned me not to blink, and believe me, I did not blink. My eyes were just glued. I didn't even move or anything because that's how fast Vitor Belfort's fights can happen, or whether it happens against him or he does it to other people. It can happen. A fight can end real quickly with people like Vitor Belfort. And so now Luke Rockhold will have to go back to the old drawing board and reassess to what he needs to do. But Vitor Belfort, now a lot of people are saying, is he ready for a title shot? Does he want a title shot? What does he want? And quite frankly, you know, I think a lot of the speculation is just simply just that, speculation. I think when the right time comes, he'll take it again. He'll take the title shot.
I think he's due for another one. That was impressive, at least. Yeah, he's due.
And like I said, and even though he lost to Anderson Silva, in a way, I still feel that anybody who can beat Anderson Silva, who has a chance of beating Anderson Silva, is Vitor Belfort. Now, of course, he didn't get that chance last time, but maybe I'm overlooking this whole thing because Anderson Silva still has to beat Chris Weidman, which I still think it'll happen, but you never know. So, so as far as Vitor Belfort and as far as Luke Rockhold, what do you think needs to happen with him as far as that goes?
I think he was timid. He was worried because he knew what he was in for. And after this fight, he's going to learn. He learned. He'll settle down. He'll be around. He's still a force because he's been so impressive, you know, while he's tenure in Strikeforce. But he'll come around. He's got a big body and lanky, and boy, can he kick himself. So just don't count him out.
And speaking of that, so in other words, as far as Vitor Belfort, do you think Vitor should fight Ronaldo? I think it'll be a good fight.
Oh yeah, that should be a Brazil fight.
Oh yeah, oh my goodness, and I love seeing that kind of fight. Believe me, it's so exciting to see two Brazilians going at it. It's just nothing like it. Well, anyways, Yogi, thank you very much for inviting me to your home for this.
You're welcome, man. Enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. And with that being said, I'm gonna get going. We're almost out of time. So take care, everybody, and have fun responsibly, and be home safe. Healing, it is all that is.